This is the hardest hit area of flooding in China, Zhuozhou in Hebei province. Parts of the city have water as deep as 6 or 7 meters, some reaching even as high as 12 meters. The Department of Water Resources of Hebei province claims that it will take another month for the water to recede from the low-lying areas. Before people could take in what was happening in Zhuozhou, the center of the rainstorm pounced on the Jilin and Heilongjiang provinces in northeastern China. Heilongjiang, a well-known grain belt in China, received a record rainfall of 346.8 millimeters, flooding a large number of rice paddies. 4 rivers in Heilongjiang experienced flooding. The first flood of the year occurred in Mudanjiang River in the early hours of August 4th. The flooding was so powerful that entire houses were washed away, and many villages were inundated. Oh my goodness, the houses are all washed away. They are floating in the water.
Look, the storm is coming. Let's go upstairs and stay there. Look, those bungalows are gone. Oh my gosh, it's so scary. Look at the trees. They are falling one by one.
我在老公给你拍的，洪峰来了，哎呀妈呀，吓死了！哎呀，亏了没把你接来。哎呀，我还寻思呢，下完雨再说吧。这家伙，你看那树一个个倒了。
猪自救，马上成功了啊！
The pig tries to save itself, and it's almost successful. It's swimming to the shore by itself. The sheep can't get down. It's hopeless.
哎。 看看整个宝兴这边全都被淹没了。
Look, the whole city is flooded. The rain is still pouring.
这雨下的。
一宿没睡。
I didn't sleep a wink, but the result is still the same. The water has rising and it rained all day and all night on the first day. If the water doesn't subside, the crop will basically be destroyed if it soaks for a few days. Working in agriculture is like this. Starting from sowing seeds in the spring, you keep on pouring money into the field. They're about to harvest. There isn't a damn thing the peasants can do with this kind of disaster.
农民们对这种天灾真是一点办法也没有。
Wuchang City has received accumulated precipitation of 346.8 millimeters in 2 days. The flood rose rapidly, and many rice paddies were flooded. The well-known Wuchang rice core production area has been flooded, and the rice paddies are facing the extinction of the harvest. The affected peasants helplessly sigh, "It's all over." This was a vast expanse of rice paddies, but now it's all flooded. Look at the water. It came to the village. It came into houses. People can't stay here anymore. The greenhouses are all destroyed. The crops are all washed away. On August 4th, the Hebei Meteorological Department issued another warning of heavy rain in many places and torrential rain in a few places. From the satellite cloud map, a thick band of rain still covers Hebei province and the northeast. That is to say, the crisis is not over and might even expand. Let's take stock of the current disasters. Mudanjiang City experienced a once-in-a-30-year flood, and flooding has also erupted in Inner Mongolia. At present, the disastrous situation in Hebei is said to be the worst, and Zhuozhou is now completely inundated. Many victims need rescue, yet no government officials are available to arrange relief materials or to assist in the rescue of victims. No police officers or soldiers or even officials are seen at the scene. The neighborhoods near Daxichao Market on National Highway 107 in Zhuozhou City are submerged in water. The water reached as high as the roofs in many parts, and the sound of people crying for help could be heard one after the other.
Look, a lot of people are screaming for help. Help hasn't come yet.
Here is a citizen on his knees begging for help. He has more than 24 family members who are missing. Now, I know that there are more than 20 of my family members who have gone missing. The situation of those who have survived is unknown. It has been 3 days since the power outage and the internet signal has been cut off, so I hope that the relevant departments will hurry up and send a rescue team to my hometown. The remaining people in the village are folks who watched me grow up. I hope that friends from all walks of life will share this video and save my family. I kowtow to you for those who have left, but for the rest of you, I hope that the relevant departments will send rescuers to my hometown and save my family. Thank you. Another individual is also looking for his family. Despair, no sleep for 2 days and 2 nights. My home is gone. The homes of the entire Zhuozhou people are gone. But what's more scary is the collective silence. My aunt, uncle, and grandma are missing. The rest of the family members are safe. Missing contact with family members, classmates, and friends. Countless people are trapped. Officials failed to send rescue teams, and no official even came out to meet the rescue teams organized by the private sector and assist them. So the rescue teams had to wait. Moreover, vehicles delivering relief supplies were made to wait in line to pay highway tolls. A lot of volunteers are waiting here. No one is here to receive them. This link is missing. They are just waiting for the locals to receive them. The government's arrangement for the civilian responders was to move them to the vegetable market. The rest was all done by the public on their own initiative, including helping those out-of-town responders with lodging and food. Some rescue crew slept on the boat on the first day, while the provincial leaders and the official media stayed in a building that had water and electricity. On the first day, when the civilian rescue team arrived, the government had no reception and ignored the rescue team, leaving them on their own.
大家好，我是涿州市
Hello everyone, I'm from Zhuozhou. I was forced to move to Zhuozhou Vocational Education Center because of the flood. At 8 p.m. on August 2nd, I saw a Jiangsu Blue Sky Rescue Team, a 9-member crew rescuing dozens of people in one day and one night. However, something unexpected happened. They don't have a place to rest or shower. As a local, I found a resting place for them. And later, I don't know from where, but the team leader found a resting place. There is a large rescue team in the Vocational Education Center who can't find a place to shower or rest. The crew member of the Q rescue team stated that they had no guide, no food, and no drinking water, looking very lost. I saw rescue teams from different cities of the Shandong province on the street without rest or place to stay. It's just really sad. I can only complain here, hoping that the leaders of the Hebei province, the leaders of Baoding City, and the leaders of Zhuozhou City will pay attention. They are all volunteers without compensation. They are risking their lives to help Zhuozhou. I hope to draw the attention of leaders from all walks of life to the situation.
The CCP officials not only do nothing in the face of disastrous flooding, but continue to publicize the so-called rescue achievement and glorify the disaster for the sake of the government's image. The disaster that was a result of man-made acts was presented as a natural disaster. On August 4th, the CCTV whitewashed the disaster by claiming that villages in Zhuozhou were flooded after being affected by rainfall. The false propaganda sparked public outcry. On the morning of August 5th, many people protested in front of the municipal government. They put up a banner that read, "Give me back my home. It's clearly caused by flood discharge, but you claim that it's caused by rainfall." The protesters clashed with the police.
Why don't you allow us to film? It's you guys I want to film. Why don't you let us tell the story?
At the same time, local people have made a video online to expose the lies of the official media.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here in Bazhou City, Hebei Province. Our area indeed has been flooded by the discharge from the upstream. In order to protect Beijing and the Xiong'anyu area, our homes are flooded, our factories are flooded. However, now the CCTV is reporting that it is raining that has caused the flooding in our area. Volunteers near our village drove kayaks and risked their lives to rescue all the elderly people in the village overnight. Then the CCTV reported that we were rescued by some other rescue team. Dozens of villages were flooded, but they only made it to 4. What the CCTV has reported is not true, so I'm posting this video. Everyone can see if we are still allowed to speak. Our homes are gone. Everything's gone. My friends and classmates in the south have been sending me greetings and concerns about the situation here in the disaster area. I can't tell you how bad it is, but it's really bad. Countless families have lost their homes and their entire lifetime's work. I saw the video from the drone and I saw the crowd at the Bazhou train station filming the villages along the way. I urge everyone to speak up for yourself and report our tragedies so that everyone can see how desperate we are. Of course, the videos and facts that we have broadcast are just the tip of the iceberg. Instead, we got the CCTV news on August 4th that said it was due to rainfall rather than discharging floodwaters from the upstream. I'm going to share a video so you can see for yourself what kind of rainfall can reach this level. This is the disaster area that was chosen for discharging floodwaters. There are many enterprises here that they are holding the fate of dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of families on their shoulders. See the peasants? They all depend on the weather for their livelihoods. They have no power. Under such circumstances, the only thing they may count on is the government and the country. But when the news came out that the floods were caused by rainfalls, not by discharging floodwaters, the little perseverance and hope in their hearts were all destroyed. How chilling.
多么的令人寒心。
看着一块板，看着一块板。到了400门口了。
What's even more saddening is the habit of CCP officials putting on a show to deceive the public. On August 2nd, CCTV broadcasted a rescue video in Zhuozhou showing a helicopter belonging to an official rescue organization flying over a flooded residence, hovering in the air and dropping a rope to hoist the suspected victims on the roof into the helicopter for transfer. The whole rescue process was filmed and broadcast on television for publicity. Let's look. The water on the street at the rescue site was only up to the lower edge of the tire, and there were 2 bystanders nearby. The water level was only up to their ankles. The door of our helicopter is open. Well, now you see that the water here is still very strong. Surely there are also journalists with a conscience who don't want to cooperate with the government in such a disastrous situation and lie openly. A reporter from Zhuozhou TV station said that after this flood, he couldn't do it anymore. Facing such a tragedy, the leadership still demanded that he report 0 missing and 0 deaths. In reality, when he participated in the rescue, he opened the door of a household and saw bodies floating in the water. A veteran journalist posted a message on his WeChat circle of friends. He mentioned that he was refused when he brought supplies to donate to the local community. He angrily criticized the local officials for their loyalty only to the party and denounced them as worse than animals, and a man-made disaster is far worse than a natural one. On August 5th, he made a public accusation via WeChat that a town party secretary in Zhuozhou had refused a donation from Southern Weekly on August 4th because the party secretary was unwilling for us to step in to carry out the donation distribution. Instead, he wanted to lock up the donated goods in his warehouse. This veteran journalist noted that the Southern Weekly received a request for help on August 5th that 5,000 people were without food. He had all the audio recordings and other evidence of the incident in his hands. He wrote, "I just want to say, leaders and cadres at all levels in Zhuozhou City, if you have any humanity, if you are a human being, you wouldn't do those things. When it comes to fraudulent donations, the Red Cross is regarded with skepticism. In Beijing, the Red Cross appealed to the public for donations for the affected areas. It was rewarded with a barrage of angry comments. Some donated a penny to express their mockery and contempt for the organization. The Red Cross was then forced to raise the donation amount to a minimum of 1 yuan. Meanwhile, on August 2nd, the CCP announced that it had delivered humanitarian supplies to Sudan in Africa. Chinese people have left all sorts of sarcastic comments. May I ask, whereabout in Hebei is Sudan? The Sudanese people in Hebei thank their motherland. They describe the CCP as one who believes it is better to treat a friend than to treat a domestic slave. Let's go back to Zhang Shuo, the former reporter for the Southern Weekly. He mentioned that he was guarding 2 truckloads of relief supplies at night. In one day, I saw local leaders who still enjoyed drinking liquor at the disastrous period. Township cadres who said there was no disaster while trying to bank the supplies, and the head of the coordination team who was full of empty talk about policy but did nothing to coordinate the work. On the other hand, he also witnessed volunteers distribute supplies on their own initiative. Civil rescue teams have meetings in the early morning with damaged feet due to being in the water for too long, and grassroots civil servants work diligently until midnight. All of these happened in my own hometowns. It has saddened me in particular. Are there emergency supplies for the victims? Yes, the relief supplies given by other places are piling up like a mountain, but the victims cannot access them. This warehouse has too many supplies, and the village heads can't even access them. They must have a certificate from the township level government or above first. It's even worse for ordinary villagers. It's going to take a while before they receive any of these supplies. No one knows how many hoops one must jump through before getting the donated goods. It would have been preferable to give them directly to the villagers. Now, no one is allowed to pick up supplies at the village level, only at the township level and above. The villagers will go to the townships to get their emergency supplies. Look at this, there are too many supplies, too many. On one side, supplies are being withheld and not distributed, while on the other side, the victims are starving. They just need mineral water, bread, milk, instant noodles, no valuables. It's useless. Just make sure they have enough to eat. In this one building, I can say there are people from 5 villages living in it, and this is all the supplies. I told you I hadn't gone home yet. Do I feel good here? What am I doing here? For fun? The local officials intercepted the relief supplies delivered to the city, and all the supplies were said to be centrally distributed by the officials. Some of the officials took the opportunity to corrupt, intercept, occupy, embezzle, and privately distribute the funds and supplies. Under the rule of the CCP, seeking personal fortune at all means has become a common practice among its members. When one of the most deadly earthquakes, the Wenchuan earthquake of 2008, struck, the whole country donated tens of billions of RMB. But up to this moment, the whereabouts of the tens of billions of RMB are unknown, and the administrators of these funds can't provide any detailed report about them. In the Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei region, party officials have intentionally opened reservoirs to release water or dug up river embankments to discharge floodwaters in order to protect Beijing and Chang'an New Area, Xi Jinping's pet project. Floodwaters have engulfed many villages. The releases with no advance notice have claimed many lives. The sponge cities that the CCP had spent a lot of money to build were all flooded. People may ask why these sponge cities, which cost so much money, are flooded as well. We attribute it to a few factors. First, the CCP's mindset of disaster prevention or flood control. The flooded Zhuozhou city is in Hebei province. The party secretary of Hebei province said he was determined to be the guardian of the capital, Beijing, as if the lives of Zhuozhou people under his governance weren't equal to those of the people in Beijing. In other words, the CCP's concept of water management, disaster prevention, or flood control is not about protecting people's lives and properties, but about protecting its own regime and power, saving the party's face, and preserving its office or using it as an opportunity to ascend to higher positions. Second, the CCP's mindset of engineering. The CCP likes mega projects. For example, when the Three Gorges Dam was built, many experts and scholars opposed it because of too many serious ecological consequences. Why was it still built when so many people within the CCP system were against it? It was because Jiang Zemin, the party leader at the time, was ambitious and wanted to build something like the pillars of a great power during his tenure. He disregarded the risks. After the construction of the Three Gorges Dam, the official media revised its flood control capacity almost immediately from once in 1,000 years to once in 100 years, and then to once in a few decades. In 2022, the Three Gorges Dam experienced severe flooding, affecting more than 50 million people and causing economic losses of more than US 14 billion. The actual number of deaths is hard to estimate. And because of the hopelessly corrupt culture created by the CCP, the number of tofu dreg projects in mainland China is now beyond measure. Third, the CCP's struggle mindset of man triumphs over nature. The CCP practices the mindset of man triumphs over nature. It has no respect or reverence for the natural environment, not to mention conducting prudent environmental assessment, especially risk assessment. Fourth, and most importantly, the bureaucratic logic of the CCP. The bureaucratic logic of the CCP is adverse elimination. Good people will be eliminated and bad people will stay. Water conservancy engineers must be professional and highly ethical, and their views must be respected before the water can be properly treated. However, under the system of adverse elimination, those who are talented, virtuous, and dare to speak the truth will be rid of and crowded out, leaving behind those horseshit experts who pander to the wishes of their superiors. This is what such projects in China are all about. They are launched at a rapid pace, but the risks also come very quickly.